Welcome back to Extra Shot. Now, before we break off for lunch, let's review the previous session about the cloud native and why it's essential to deliver the automation, agility and innovation needed to support new services. We are joined by two guests. We've got Scott Raynovich. Scott is founder and principal analyst at Futuriom, and Manish Singh, who's CTO, Telecom Systems Business Unit at Dell Technologies. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Charlie.
So, Scott, first of all, could you present your company and what you do?
Oh yes, so Futuriom is an independent analyst firm, and we are exclusively focused on cloud and communications infrastructure. And I've personally been in this industry for 25 years, so following the evolution of communications and cloud.
So before I ask you why cloud is essential for the industry to remain successful, I'd like to move over to Manish. Manish, Dell Technologies, a well-known brand, of course, in the world of tech, not telecoms necessarily, but of course the two are merging together, aren't they? And in fact, yesterday we had a session about how to tap into the power of technology for telecom operators and companies to become techcos and not telcos. Manish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you're right. Dell's well known. We're well known for our laptops and a lot of our server and storage work that we do. But Dell has been involved in the telecom industry for a long time, providing a lot of the infrastructure solutions to the telcos. And we see the telcos, as you said, they're going through their own digital transformation journey to become more techcos and start to disaggregate the networks, adopt a lot of the cloud native capabilities, agility, etc. Earlier we had a session on AI. They're very keen to adopt AI technologies and drive more automation and innovation. And from Dell Technologies' perspective, we've done these digital transformation journeys across industry verticals for many of our customers. So we're leveraging that experience, that expertise, our product sets, and then bringing them to the telecom customers to really help these service providers accelerate their digital transformation journeys.
Thank you very much. So, Scott, tell us why cloud native is so important to the future of the telecoms industry.
Yes, well, we had a good panel on cloud native, and we also had a panel this morning on AI. And of course, the telcos are, one of the themes that's kind of emerged from this conference is the existential lack of confidence that some of the telcos seem to have. They see these big cloud companies like Microsoft and Google and Dell moving very fast, and they wonder, are we going to be left behind? As we know, telcos are very difficult businesses. They're large, sometimes slow-moving. So they're trying to figure out how to keep up and adapt to these new technologies, these cloud-native technologies, become more agile and infuse the AI and really bring it to the next level.
Manish, what do you think are the highlights or the key takeaways of the session we've just heard?
Yeah, I mean, look, the biggest takeaway is, first of all, disaggregation of the network functions is already happening. So clearly heard, network functions becoming more cloud native. A lot of that has already happened on the BSS OSS side. We heard that through the panel. It's happened through the core networks. And what's not happened, but is happening now, is actually the disaggregation cloud native characteristics coming on the last bit of the network on the access side with Open RAN. So that disaggregation cloud native capabilities are coming, and they're essential. I mean, to really have that agility, get those CI/CD pipelines. A lot of it is about, again, creating more diversity on the supply chain side, but then ability to onboard new vendors in a much faster way. And again, all this containerization starts to really pave the way for service providers to onboard these functions and do much better lifecycle management. So it's all about innovation, service agility, introducing new services and more.
Scott, what are the biggest challenges or hurdles faced by the industry as it attempts to become cloud native?
Right. Well, I think among these themes, what we've heard is it's a people and a culture a transformation as much as it is a technology transformation. And the debate that's popped up a lot is are telcos thinking about how to implement these technologies the right way? Do they have to break everything down and start over, or can they adapt what they have? Can they adapt their infrastructure as it is to AI, or do they have to create some new system to implement AI and automation? So I think that was a theme that we heard a number of times.
Absolutely. Now, Manish, I asked Scott previously about the challenges encountered by the industry's endeavor to become cloud native. From your perspective, what are they and how can they be overcome?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and we heard in some of the panel discussions about some of these challenges. Really upskilling the workforce. That's something that's required. Tooling, getting all the tooling in place for cloud native, both from an infrastructure as well as from the workloads perspective. So these are some of the challenges, but I think I see the industry really maturing now, more and more, as I said, having gone through these journeys from the OSS, BSS side on to core networks. So we are definitely on that journey and accelerating.
Now, Manish, you've mentioned skills. We've had discussions around the need to attract new skills to the industry, new talent, and maybe people from a different background as well, which is very interesting. Obviously, at Dell, I imagine being a tech company, you've never really failed to do that. Young people, generally, young generations, have liked to work for the tech sector. So what's your advice to the telecom industry to make itself more attractive to younger generations, or, like I've said, people who come from different industries maybe? Scott, you may have thoughts on this as well.
I think there are many opportunities in the telecom industry. If you're a smart young person, for example, say you're learning AI, how to program learning models, they seem to have a need for that right now, and they expressed interest in finding these people. And some of the larger companies might be more competitive, in terms of how you get a job there. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities in this industry as they look to the next generation to build these cloud native AI type technologies.
Manish, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, bottom line, innovators love to innovate and they need to be empowered. If you really want to attract top talent, you need to empower them. You need to give them the resources. I mean, AI is a perfect example of that. There's a lot of opportunity to apply AI machine learning onto the telecom networks. The telcos have great historical data sets, both for the customers as well as on their networks. And leveraging those data sets to drive automation, reduce churn, revenue assurance, et cetera, et cetera. The opportunity is almost limitless right now. But to really bring that talent in, give them access to those data sets, give the access to the infrastructure to build and train the models, and really enable them. I think that's what will attract the best talent to the industry.
Wonderful. It's nearly time to wrap up this conversation. Before you go, I'd like to ask you if you've been here at the DSP Leaders World Forum before, and if not, if you will be coming back, or what your thoughts are about the event generally.
Well, I think it's been a lovely experience, and this is my first time, but I will be back.
What have you liked about it?
I like the kind of casual networking atmosphere. There's a lot of networking breaks, to talk to people and further the discussion. I like the pinball tournament, and although it looks like I won't win, I did well. So it was
trophy here, no? Okay, wonderful. What about yourself, Manish? Have you been here before?
No, this was my first time. I've done the great telco debate, but this was my first time at the DSP Forum, and I agree. I mean, first of all, I think the great people in the room, the agenda was really good, the topics were really good. The discussion format, I really loved it, was more of conversational and really peeling the different layers of onions and complexities that we as an industry have to tackle. And I'm going to miss that extra shot.
Thank you for that. Free advertising, eh? Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Manish and Scott. Thank you for joining us today. It's time to break off for lunch. We'll see you again very shortly for the next session of Extra Shot. Welcome back to Extra Shot, where we are joined by Scott Raynovich. He's founder and principal analyst at Futuriom. And we also are welcoming a new guest this afternoon. It's Marie Ma. Marie is general manager at Comba Telecom. Thank you for joining us. Previously on Extra Shot, we talked about the previous session, the last session of the morning, dedicated to cloud native. Any thoughts on that, or maybe on other sessions you've listened to during the forum?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talking in these 2 days about cloud native, about AI, about automation, about saving the operation cost. I think this is certainly a trend, and I think all CSPs are looking into that. We are, as the company, we're involved in the cloud native private network solutions, and that is, well, we collaborate with operators, but also for enterprises. So we know this is part of the interest, certainly, that we see in this in the show. On the other hand, I think what brings us here is the Green Network session that we're going to participate in the afternoon. So we're going to talk about our innovations that can help CSPs reduce their CO2 footprint in the network, to improve energy efficiency and to reduce the power consumption. And so I think that is very pragmatic and this practical, solutions that we're bringing to the industry.
Yeah. And in the journey towards becoming cloud native, what do you see as the biggest challenges or hurdles to be overcome?
I think there are certainly a lot of solutions, right, around there. I think they're talking about APIs, and to my personal opinion, is maybe should you use a public cloud or private cloud, and how does all these applications link together, on board all those containerization platforms, and it's not about a concept, it's not about innovation or direction. People is very clear, but then how does it effectively innovate and change the network that is existing today? I think without giving an impact on the service to the customers, to the users. I think maybe that is more of cross-industry collaboration, and that's the aspect that it's needs to be taken a deeper look into that.
So this afternoon we have 2 sessions dedicated to the green transition, another big journey for the telecom industry, of course. Scott, how can the industry become cleaner and more efficient when it comes to energy in particular?
Good question. We're going to need to do that, and I was in a discussion a little while ago, and I was pointing out to folks, they were talking about green energy and global warming, and I was pointing out that these things, we just generate consumption all day long because all of our photos and things we're uploading to the cloud, and that's consuming energy. So we clearly have to do something about that, whether it's seeking new green sources of energy, hydroelectric, wind, or geothermal, like in Iceland. They have data centers. And I thought one of the fascinating topics here is AI, right? Now, one of the interesting downsides of AI is it's going to cost a lot of money, over $80 billion in investment, but also AI consumes even more energy. So we're going to be building these gigantic AI clouds that are going to, require yet more energy.
Yeah.
So we're going to need AI to make the AI green, is what I'm looking forward to hearing about.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Mary, on the green transition?
Yeah, I think on the other hand, there's also saying that, if we put all the computing power on the edge, right, and then the usage, CPU usage is low, which is kind of, you're wasting the energy, we're wasting the capex you invest there. So, kind of aggregating all the computing powers into an edge data center, maybe it's going to save. So, I think there's maybe on the positive side and negative side of that. And
there's a lot of engineering problems to solve for the green revolution.
Do you feel there's a real momentum currently within the industry, that everyone is aware of the need to decarbonize and do better?
Well, the momentum is that 40% of the cost of a data center is power, so they will all be motivated to save money, and
Yeah.
that means saving power. So that's a good thing.
That's a valid point, isn't it? It's not just energy efficiency is not just about being good, okay, and being green. It's also about
Sure.
saving money, like you said. Is it an important consideration from your perspective as well?
Yeah, so, well, if we look at what we all check different data sources on how power consumption is distributed in a site, right? As you said, 40% on the brand side, maybe on computing. And among of them, I think majority of them are actually spending on the radios. Like, radios burning a lot of of course, the baseband is also like burning a lot of power consumptions, and because we are a radio house, like Comba traditionally is building radios and building antennas, so we believe there's a lot of innovations there that can immediately actually improve energy efficiency, and it's there are certainly some technologies will take longer time to materialize, but I think some technologies or innovations that we're bringing to the industry would probably give an immediate impact to the network, energy saving. That's, we look forward to sharing more in this afternoon session.
I look forward to it as well.
Yeah, so is the DSP Leaders World Forum the right place to do this, to have those conversations?
Absolutely. I mean, these are some of the largest companies in the world, and networks are at the heart of everything we do, so we need to solve these problems.
Absolutely. Marie, have you been here before? Are you a first timer at the
It's
forum?
my first time.
Okay, so how are you finding it so far?
I think networking is really brilliant. I mean, this is really the right audience, and all the discussion here are very open, very, open-minded, and there is some debates as well. It's very interesting, and I think of course energy saving, and as I mentioned, cloud and AI automation is obviously few main topics in this 2 days event. For us, I think this is the right event to talk about, to share our experience and to share our technologies, and certainly very enjoyable.
Lovely. Will you be coming back then?
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Wonderful. Another topic we discussed earlier before the lunch break was that of skills, a shortage of talent within industry, new skills, upskilling, reskilling, whatever. Okay, your thoughts on this? And some women don't like it, but I have to. Obviously, you are a woman, so how can we attract more women to the industry? Since we need to attract new skills and fresh talent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is unfortunately one of the topics I always raise and discuss with my peers, in the industries. We're lacking talents. I'm not sure if it's the same case in Europe right now. For us in Hong Kong, it was extremely challenging, right? It's I do agree, and then I think for women, yes, I mean we're certainly minority, and then there's probably less and less going into the engineering field, and maybe they would choose internet instead of telecom. And this, how do we solve this? And I think we need more innovations in the industry. I think we need to have some more changes, and I think there's cross-industry collaborations in bringing some of IT concept and AI and automation is going to help this industry innovate. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, doing my part of my family, I have a daughter that's studying engineering and computer science. And
nice, we need more women in science and engineering.
Yes, and I think these young kids, you have to get them excited about solving these big problems, green, AI, for example, and this industry has these big problems. So I think if we can talk more about this as a big problem to solve for everybody, maybe we can motivate the younger generation to do that.
I think that's very important because the development and the deployment of mass AI has important ethical considerations. So if we don't have more female brains, for instance, looking into developing something that can be safely used by everyone and that will serve everyone, the whole of humanity, that's not going to work, is it? So your thoughts on this, Mary, on having more diversity, I'd say, in terms of all the profiles of people working and developing and deploying AI?
Yeah, I think certainly people from different culture, but different background give different opinions about it. I manage an international team, so I really enjoy all this conflict. Well, not conflict, but just brainstorming together, coming from different background. We'll have different opinions and the experience as well. I think the diversity part is going to contribute to especially when you want to come up with some new ideas and innovations. And I think AI, we know that I'm using ChatGPT myself, right, to help me work, right. I'm using it daily, but you need to guide it. Like the AI tool is not there to replace me, and not yet, right. So I think we need still talented people, right, with different background, from different experience, to guide the tools to make I think high efficiency, to deliver better work to our need. That's how I think.
No, I totally understand your point. So going back to the impact of AI on society, there are concerns that AI will lead to mass unemployment, for instance. And after tech, we are seeing a new round of layoffs within the telecom sector, for instance. So are you concerned about it, Scott, and the repercussions across the industry?
I'm not actually. Historically, every time there's been some sort of technological revolution, it's actually created new jobs in new areas that compensate for the lost jobs somewhere else. So, I mean, most of our railroads are more automated now, but than they were 50 years ago. But there's people running the technology and the communications to help the railroads, be automated. So there'll be new jobs created in the industry.
Yeah.
Are you also optimistic?
Yeah, I'm not worried about I think AI is good, and we can leverage those tools to help us. And as I said, we still need a brain. AI was created by human beings, so we need a brain to guide it to make the best use for us.
There's also a shortage of workers worldwide right now, because of the generations. It's a smaller population in the workforce, so we might need the help.
So exciting times ahead for the telecom sector?
I think so.
I think
what about you?
Yeah. We look forward to more younger generation people to join us in this segment. And we still have a lot of innovations here. I think a lot of good ideas are being discussed. And implementation may take some time, but I think this future is very promising.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for your thoughts and your input. It's now time to, excuse me, it's the end of day 2 nearly, and I'm losing my voice. Nothing to do with the entertainment last night, of course. But anyway, we're going to hand over to Ray, who's on the main stage for the first session of the afternoon, dedicated to finding ways to optimize energy and power usage within networks. So over to you, Ray.